Welcome back to my channel. So now we are on module 5, right? Module 5, and we're doing assignment 4, which says document program designs using appropriate tools. And assignment instructions: conduct research and gather information to address each of the following questions. So this is module 5, assignment number 4 of systems development level 4. So if you're doing systems development level 4, you check your, I think this is your summative. There must be this assignment, which is assignment 4, document program designs using appropriate tools. So we are required to build a calculator, a loan repayment calculator, right? So it says program design activity objectives. Number one says using a suitable editor. So we need to find a code editor. So all along in our classes, we have been using Visual Studio Code, and then for HTML, most of you have been using the Notepad. So we're gonna, for now, for Python, we're gonna stick with Visual Studio Code because Notepad won't be able to do what we want to do now in Python. All right. So using suitable editor, and then that's the first. Number one thing is that we are trying to find out that are you able to use an editor, right? Are you able to identify an editor and then be able to use or write your code within an editor? So we have different types of editors. We used Sublime on HTML. Some of you were using Sublime, and then some of you were using the Visual Studio Code, and then that's the one that we're going to use now for the Python code or the Python project. And then we also used that. Okay, we use Visual Studio Code, and then we use this one, Visual Studio, right? Okay, let me come back to this side. So those are the code editors that we have been using so far. So we are testing you now that are you able to use these code editors? Are you able to debug? Are you able to pick up errors as you're typing? Because we know that Visual Studio Code editor, it picks up or it shows you that you have made a mistake using the squeaky red lines, that you have made a mistake on a certain part. So are you able to use a code editor, right? And then the syntax is like, it's just like the syntax. Are you able to use the Python syntax, to follow the Python syntax, right? So the syntax is more like the rules of that specific language that you're using. And then checking the mistakes, all of those, compiling it. Are you able to compile your code, right? So these are the things that I'm looking for when you're completing this assignment. Are you able to use a code editor? Are you able to follow Python syntax? Are you able to debug? Are you able to pick up any mistakes as you are typing your code and then compiling your code once you're done? Okay, introduction: design a procedural program that will calculate the total cost based on the interest rate of 15% of a new vehicle purchase over a period of 5 years, right? So we need to write a code um, using any procedural programming language, right? So we're going to use Python for this assignment. All right, ensure that you, as part of your assignment, demonstrate the use of the editor of the development tools to produce procedural program source code. So are you able to use the code editor? Make use of the syntax checker of the tools. Check for syntax. Are you able to check for syntax errors using Visual Studio Code or any syntax or any code editor that you are using at that time? And then make use of the tool to compile the procedural source code produced. Are you able to make use of that? So without any further ado, let me just dive straight to my Visual Studio Code. And then we say now what we want to do is to write a code within Python. So we write a code within the Visual Studio Code. I'm using Visual Studio. Okay. So here I am. Okay, we have another task here. So have your challenge: create a loan calculator. So this is the similar one to that one, right? So we're creating a loan calculator in Python. All right. So let me just do this. I have my code already running on the side. Let me see if I can be able to show you both codes. Let me do this. Let me say, where is my code? I think my code was running somewhere in. It's running somewhere here. Let me see. I have it here. So let me make my sound bigger. Okay, here's my code. You see already I have been running the code on the side. So let me type it out for you this side. Let's say def my function now for monthly payment, give it a name, give your function a name. I'll prefer that to be capital letter P, and then the principal, say principal. What else do I need? I need the rate, and then I also need the year, right? And then you see now the squeaky lines. You want to see a squeaky lines a lot, like if you make mistakes, or if Python or is picking up any, if Visual Studio is picking up any mistakes, or what you call the errors within your code, right? And then N for my N will be a variable for years there, right? It's a variable. By now we already know what a variable is. Years times, so I'm saying times 12. So we know this is going to be a monthly payment, meaning that let's say someone types in 4. So 4 years, for 4 years, right? We know that a year is 12 months. So I want to say that 4 times 12 because it's a monthly payment. So that's why I'm typing in that times 12 there because it's going to be a monthly payment. And then in Python, you need to sometimes you have to comment, right? So that when someone else reads your code, if they don't understand your line of code, they can read the comment and be able to tell what's your code doing, right? Number of monthly payments. I don't know why is it still here having a red squeaky line there. Okay, let's hope it won't be an issue, but it's red, it's green. I don't think it will be a problem. R for rate, right? What's my rate? So on the rate side, what will happen is divide that by 100, right? And then let's say 12 divided by 12, and then the monthly interest, right? Interest rate, and then on payment is equals to, say, R times the principal. So that must be a times a principal. R times principal, and then so I'm giving Python a formula here that I'm using to calculate my monthly payment, right? And then 1 plus we know that computers are smart, but they need us to give them a formula or something to work with. So 1 plus R there, and then I will say that times N, and then divide that, say 1 plus R times N, and then minus 1. Okay, cross check that. We said that the rate times the principal, rate times principal times, and then A1 plus rate times N. All right, everything looks fine then. And then return, whatever return, let's say one payment. So you can see Visual Studio is very, what you call, what's the word for? It has intelligence, right? As I type in the word, it completes it for me, and then I can just click enter to enter that particular word. So yes, equals, so I want to convert this, like when we know that when you're typing in input, right? Input, when the user punches in whatever value the user punches in, even if it's a integer, even if it's a string, uh, input, it gives us back that value as a string. So we need to convert that into any data type that we want. So we want to receive that, want to convert that value into an integer, and then the input part is the part that allows the user to punch in like information that we want them to type in there. Right? For example, this side, we want to ask the user for the number of years, like please input, let me just say input years of loan, right? How many years are they going to be paying this loan for, right? Input allows us to ask the user rate, and then I want to convert that into a float data type, and then input. You can see where is the input there. Let me see if I have the input. Where do I have? Okay, the input there. Let's say what we have. Rate equals to float input. The input, please enter annual interest rate, and then we need the principal. Principal equals, as an integer data type, and then we say input input amount of loan, input amount of loan. How much are you borrowing from the bank? So I forgot the open inverted commas because this is a string, right? And then I think that's it. I need to type in, say, print. So you can see now the Visual Studio Code, the power of Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio. You can see it explains what we can type in there, the value object, what prints the value to a stream or to C out. So of which, if you're using Notepad, it doesn't have the power or the ability to do all of these. So this is why we are moving to Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, because of this power that it has. It can explain to us, it has intelligence, it can pick up errors, we can use it to debug all of those things, right? Okay, monthly, let's say monthly payment. Okay, let's leave it like this, and then format dot format. Okay, that is to go in there, and then right here we just need to now type out the function, right? Bring the function down here, and then don't change that for me. Format, yes, I want this one there and the format there. And then what I'm gonna do now, you see I need the principal. You can see there, principal, rate, and then year. So I'll start with the principal. Principal, and then the rate, and then the year. You can see now once you type in principal, it moves to rate, and then rate. You can see I've typed in rate. Now year is bold now, meaning that that's the next value that I need to type in here. Year Say yes, whatever works for you. Yes, come on. And then I think that's it. Now, okay, if everything's fine, my code is supposed to run perfect without any issues, right? It mustn't give me any problems. But you know, with programming languages, man, there's always. And then, okay, the other thing is make sure that the balance here. We have like the curly brace, no, the parentheses. Is that a parenthesis? Am I lying? There we go. Because we have one there, we have one there, must be three there. Okay, let me see. Let me try to run this and see if it will give us any errors. I'm already seeing some issues there. Why is that one not in? Let's just say yeah. Hopefully there won't be any issues. Okay, so if I go back to my, okay, let me start with this one. Let's say, please input years of loan 3. Please enter annual interest rate. Let's start with 0.05, and then input amount of payment. Let's say 5,000. Okay, you can see it's coming out all right. Then it's 138. But the problem now, there are so many digits after the decimal point there. What if I only want 2 decimal points in there? Let me see if I can change that without, because I showed you there on my slide how to do that. So we have we went through this, I think, the formatting of the numbers. So you can see here we have print IF. So if I want only 2 digits after the decimal point, then I can have that. I can type this, right? Let me copy there because I'm a lazy developer. Just say copy that, and then we paste it right there. Okay, let me Control S just to save that. Now let me run this again. Let me see if it will change it to 2 decimal place. Let's say the same 3 0.05. Let's hope this piece of code doesn't affect my entire code now, because we know when programming, right, like when you try to add one piece of code, you find that it messes up your entire code. But hopefully it won't be the case here. Come on. You see, now it's not typing anymore. I told you. Okay, let me start that again. Put it on the side, say 3, enter. Please enter annual interest rate. We're saying 0.05. Input amount, we're saying 5,000. So you can see now I'm left with only 2 decimal points. That's how you can do that in Python using this, right? So 139. So this is my monthly payment, right? But we were required to do this, design a procedural program that will calculate the total cost based on the interest rate. So interest rate, okay, 15%, and then 5 years, 180. So let's say we want to calculate the monthly payment for this loan, right? Our loan is 180. The vehicle purchase, we bought our car for 180,000, right? And then interest rate, they're saying is 15%. Let's say maybe it's FNB, right? Their interest rate is 15%. How long are you going to be paying this loan for? 5 years. Okay, let's go back to the code. Not this one again. There we go. Drag this to the side. Please input years of loan. They said 5 years, right? Please enter annual interest 0.15, 15%. And then the loan is 180,000. How much are we going to be paying monthly? So 3,011.45 cents. So that's the amount they're going to be paying monthly. My math is not that good, like, but I think using Python, you can see Python is not giving me any errors. That means that whatever I'm typing is correct, right? But the math might be wrong. But on the Python side, I think I got it right. So there is 3,011. So you get an answer. That's the monthly payment that's your monthly payment for this loan, right? So you can use the same formula to answer this question that we have here on this assignment. So on this assignment, what you do now, you will just take a screenshot of this, your source code on the side, and then your answer at this side. And then this will be your assignment form. This will be your assignment form, and then you submit it like that. That's assignment 4 then. All right, I think that's it. I am done. Now I need to find a way of stopping this recording. Where is the player? Where is the recording? Where is my recorder now? Um, so